I'm just in this lifetime recording the things that matter to me. I'd like to go for a sense of, it's a combination of realism, and it's like finding that romantic view. I do think of Spokane as being romantic.
Artist James Francis LaVigne loves Spokane, and he's got the pictures to prove it. Since the early 70s, this Lilac City native has been capturing the romantic side of Spokane's most beloved landmarks. From his studio in the heart of downtown, James is just steps away from his subjects.
When I travel around wherever I'm walking, I do consider perspective and the romantic view of what I'm looking at, so that there are points where things are just in alignment that feel like they really are pleasing to the eye. And everything changes when you move a half an inch, so everything is lined up differently in my eyes when I look at things. Spokane has very many interesting buildings, including this Masonic temple. And this particular block and the one with the Spokane Club in it were two blocks that really did interest me when I first started my drawing of Spokane. When I look at a building, it pulls back from the centuries before the influences into that architectural style. And I enjoy that kind of view of the world, seeing the time that's gone in the past.
A self-proclaimed artistic archivist, James is steeped in the history of Spokane architecture.
James is a historian, which you cannot believe what he knows about Spokane. And all of it shows in his artwork. The first time I saw James LaVigne's art, I was really impressed because of the detail that he gets and the historical value it perceives.
James takes geography and kind of juxtaposes it to create a more idealized or romantic view of the city. So a lot of times you have places where contemporary architecture has been erased, or there are motifs from previous time in history that are added in that you might not see today. And that always adds some kind of interesting dimension to his work.
His artwork is very romantic, and it is very precise. The hidden treasures that he brings out of Spokane and himself are amazing.
Growing up, James had hopes of being an architect. But when financial woes dashed that dream, he went to college to draw instead of design. His decision paid off, as today his artwork can be seen on nearly every floor of nearly every public building in Spokane. And it all began with a trip to Grandma's house.
Well, as a boy, I came into Spokane and stayed with my grandmother, and I used to cut loose and go downtown, and I was always fascinated with the big buildings. I still am trying to capture them. As I grow as an artist, I keep doing things better, I think. The mediums I work in are oil painting, etching, pen and ink, but primarily my main medium is drawing, primarily in pencil. Whenever I draw, I have an audience. Even though I'm in my studio by myself, I'm always paying attention to the audience that will view the piece, and so that's what makes me strive for getting clarity in the piece. I go into a world where I have control, and I can create 1 inch or 5 miles of space in two-dimensional representation, and that is magic to me, and that's where I lose myself and where I'm passionate.
Using passion, hard work, and a heavy dose of patience, James strives to show Spokane's historically important structures in the most divine light.
One of the things in trying to capture a building like St. John's, I studied the building for about 6 or 7 years, and just at sunset the building would begin to glow a beautiful golden color. And there are times a day that the buildings look their best, and I try to capture them.
One of the things that I really admire about James's work is that he is very much a Spokane man. You know, he has chosen to be very purposeful and intentional in his work in representing the history of Spokane, Spokane's monuments, Spokane's bridges, the figures that are important to Spokane's history. There is truly something about James's commitment to making sure that the architect's work is documented through the creation of other artwork.
With Spokane as his muse, James LaVigne continues to create works of art that celebrate the city's rich architectural history. His labor of love will surely romance future generations as well when they see Spokane through the eyes of this artiste extraordinaire.
I find myself walking downtown, looking at these buildings more than I ever have before, and actually seeing pieces of James' artwork in it. And to me, that has enriched my life quite a bit because of that. I enjoy Spokane architecture more than if I would have never met James.
I get the most enjoyment from being in a painting or a drawing that is actually working, where the perspective is correct, where I'm not having difficulties, and it's flowing out, and I lose track of time and space, and I'm really happy when that occurs. I think those are the happiest times in my life.
If you have an idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.